Get connected, Fitchburg. We're launching Fitchburg Connect, the city's new monthly e-newsletter that keeps you informed about all the events, services, and updates that matter to you. Get it in your inbox once a month. Our first edition is live now. Sign up today to get Fitchburg Connect.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Crosby.
And I'm Nick Boucher. We're your hosts for the program that's all about your city, Talking Fitchburg.
Every weekday, we pull together the news, events, and information you need to stay on top of what's happening in the city of Fitchburg.
Find Talking Fitchburg on cable TV, Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, and our live stream on the web. Plus, you can find all our headlines and stories on Facebook, YouTube, and our video on demand service. This is your city.
Keep up with Talking Fitchburg and the issues affecting you and your neighbors.
Good evening. Welcome to the Community Equity Advisory Committee for the City of Fitchburg. Today is February 25th, 2026. The meeting starts at 5:15, and we'll do a move to approve the minutes from our last meeting, agenda item 2A. Second? Bill, second. Great. And item 3, public appearances for non-agenda items. We do not have any public appearances or public comments. So we'll move past that into our agenda items under number 4. So the first one is number 4A. Let me get the door real quick. Sorry. This. Okay, sorry. No problem. Apologize for the interruption, but we just start. So we're going to jump into updates from each subgroup, and just to give the public some background, we did identify 3 working groups to meet off-site, and we did not reach quorum. There were groups of no more than 3 to look at different items, and those 3 items were a DEI calendar, a conversation about that, a request from the mayor's office and city staff around potential Hastahochi programming ideas, and then the final was looking at GARE resources and our next steps and a conversation around that. So if we would, I'd like to move into having a report out from those different groups. So we'll start with the DEI calendar.
So this is Jessica. Hi. There was a little bit of confusion as to who was doing what, and so we did pull together a very comprehensive, just any observance you can think of, spreadsheet with days or months, like depending on what this group or what our smaller committee ends up landing on. But we do have that resource that I will share out after this, or share with Sarah to put in.
I think probably go to Sarah, but I think why don't you give us a little bit more information on some of the process and maybe some of the discussion, and then we can maybe bring some conversation around it.
Yeah, so I will also pass it to Janice, because we didn't actually get a chance to meet. Okay. So this was really more just what is possible, what do other similar organizations do. That's kind of where I was coming from, approaching this from. And then I also shared some different, these observances, and then also went through and flagged, yes, thank you, flagged some that I thought would be appropriate, that are typically in broader organizations observed. So that's what this list is, and again, I have a very exhaustive one elsewhere. And then the other thing, so I work at the university and was able to, they send out different like toolkits for each observance. And I share that with Janice to just say maybe that's something we can look into doing for the different ways that we observe these things. So it doesn't necessarily just need to be a declaration every time. It could be like, sharing out from the social medias or whatever the mayor would like to do as well. So, and I guess next steps, and I'll let Janice speak as well, but in my mind, next steps are deciding if this list essentially looks good, and then how do we want to go about presenting this to council, to this group, and I guess
Where
whatever.
that goes, yeah.
And then Janice, you were going to talk about your end with the.
No, I have the second part of the hostel community center. In regards to what Jessica was saying, no, there was some confusion as to who was on the subcommittees based on Chris's notes. So we did not get an opportunity to meet and or discuss things. But I guess I would like to hear a little bit more about what is our real role in this. I mean, is this for the city? Does that come out through human resources and the employee group, or is this our group doing this? I guess I'm not sure exactly where this is going in general.
Yeah, I think that's a big.
Yeah. So I mean, so Jessica and I can talk more and maybe come back next meeting and share whatever. It's up to you guys.
Okay. And honestly, too, I apologize for the miscommunication that came on my end. I was managing a lot of stuff with also a sick family member, so I apologize for the miscommunication.
Yeah.
I appreciate the work that you did do, regardless of my miscommunication. And personally, just for discussion and consideration for the group, I think, our mission, remember, we're an advisory group. And I think that really the question came to us as to what are we thinking about in observations of DEI. I think that's a great question, but I think also this is an opportunity to meet with the internal staff DE or diversity team and think about what they're doing, give them our thoughts in regards to, or just at least open a conversation to understand what they're doing. But I think it's a bit of a mission creep per se if we're kind of managing this also. I think providing ideas and being part of those ideas, uplifting them, being a way to communicate those out to the different parts of the community that we touch on individually, I think makes a lot of sense. And then encouraging participation when that makes sense. But that's just my thought, and I'll just add that to this piece.
Yeah, I mean, you basically took the words out of my mouth. The whole time I just kept thinking we could get really deep in the water here, and that would be fortunate and would make a lot of extra work for us when that's really not our role. So I would envision it by us putting together what we think is a comprehensive list of dates that are important to us based on the recognized groups, and just be confident in the list. And then the engagement ideas, I mean, that's great too. We can send that off as a cherry on top kind of thing. But at some point it has to be a handoff of like, all right.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, thanks for that clarity, because that's exactly where I was going with that. That's what my thought was. But thanks for clarifying that.
Same. The more you get into the things, you're like, oh, we could do this and that. I don't think that's what we're doing here.
Exactly.
So
But we'll get so deep in the weeds and something like that.
Yeah.
But I'm happy to, as time is available to me and my family and to us as a group, I think absolutely anything the city's doing around this work, I'm happy to support and get the word out and participate in if I have the opportunity to. But thank you all for that work. Are we ready to move on to Hastahochi? I think that's Janet.
Yeah, absolutely. It was myself, Chris, and Colleen. And we had, this was interesting. Our charge was to come up with suggestions for events that could happen over at that community center, Hastahochi. And we did that. We met and we did come up with some ideas. But first, let me just say a couple things. one of the things that, and in taking a look at that, we wanted to take into consideration the individuals, the residents that live in that particular community. And we wanted to make sure that we indeed, while we can give suggestions, we want to make sure we hear from them. What is it that they want? What kind of events do they want over in that community? And then another thing is that that community is one of our healthy neighborhoods. And we have an outreach person that oversees healthy neighborhoods, and they have navigators. And so hopefully that, you know, the information that we provide to them, they can use that. But we don't know, the group, I mean, Colleen, myself, and Chris, we don't know the structure in terms of who's going to be overseeing, who's going to be facilitating, and who's responsible for what over there. So we are only providing some ideas of the what, not the how they go about doing it and when or any of that. We didn't get that deep into it. So I just wanted to give you guys that background. So then what we did was took a look at it and we came up with 3 pillars. One pillar is community events, and then the other was education and resources. And then the third one was health and wellness. And so, yeah, while I'm not going to go through the whole entire list underneath each one of those pillars, I'll give you some examples, and then we'll have a document, and that perhaps we'll go back to the mayor. I guess that's who requested these suggestions, us to come together and come up with suggestions. And then we also can share that with each of you once we, you know, get this document put together. But for example, under the community events, we talked about different things like culturally relevant events. We talked about community meals. We talked about opportunities for community listening sessions. And that's where you can gather information in terms of what that community, what the residents of that community are looking for and want or need. So that's an example under the community. Under the education and resources, we talked about library fairs, having, you know, our library folks go over and do some things. We talked about energy assistance programs. We talked about, housing, you know, programs, different things like that. Things that would be of interest to them and perhaps be something that they need as well. But again, keeping in mind, it's for them. Our thoughts may be completely different than what they want, what believe that they need. And then finally, health and wellness. We talked about different things like flu shot clinics, visiting nurses, just a variety of things, things for senior citizens who sit right across the street in that big building over there. What are some of the things that they will need? So there's a variety of things under each one of those pillars.
Janice comes back.
That's what we did with that, and we only had one meeting. Really, we're trying to be extremely considerate of the residents in that particular community, and not speak for them, but find out what they, hear from them. What do they want? What do they feel they need? But all at the same time, provide a list of recommendations and suggestions to the mayor. So there's my high level.
Thank you, Janice. Just a few other, short, small details. We also wanted to be cognizant too of the city structures and resources that are going to be responsible for implementing some of the things, especially if it's a city plan program. So our recreation group, library, Janice mentioned, but any other group that the city would formally be engaging with that work. So we'll bring those suggestions back to the mayor. One other thing too, just from a kind of an equity lens perspective, that this is an opportunity for thinking about, are there barriers that might be experienced in that community that we can address through some of the programming ideas that we came up with. And Janice mentioned a few of them, but how can we limit or start addressing disparities that residents might be experiencing from this just naturally, and from programming and from this community center? So that was kind of the question that we're asking as well.
And find out from them, because we may think there's inequities or what have you, but we need to know, what do they think?
They would know best. So thank you, Janice, for that report.
Yeah.
I'll send it over to Colleen for GARE and GARE resources.
We met, it was myself and Christopher and Sarah to talk about the racial equity tools and also specifically the resources from GARE, or the Government Alliance for Race and Equity. And we reviewed about 5 different tools, a couple from Seattle, one from Madison, and another tool that was adapted by Nina Collective, which is an organization I'm part of. And in the course of the conversation, we kind of realized there's 2 tracks of ways we might utilize both GARE and the racial equity tool. For City of Fitchburg employees, we thought about perhaps adapting the City of Madison racial equity tool. That adaptation could be within our scope as a committee, or it should definitely include employee feedback and input. And so, whether they would want our support with that, or whether that would be something, that an internal team might take and run with, would be something we would need to talk more about. We also talked about how for staff, in addition to the actual tool, people might need some training, not just on the use of the tool, but on what are we talking about when we're talking about equity. The tool is only as good as, people's understanding of what we're asking them to evaluate. And so we talked about the possibility of helping to support the development of like a scope and sequence to go along with the resources that GARE offers. GARE has a lot of resources. Sarah kind of just did a quick, showed us what the website looks like, and there's just a ton of stuff, which is awesome, but it also feels like it might be overwhelming, especially if you're like a new employee who hasn't really delved into this yet. And so we thought one thing we might be able to do that could be helpful is, again, either some subgroup of this team, or perhaps in collaboration with the DEI committee that's internal, help them develop a scope and sequence where you can say, do these 3 trainings, which you can find at these direct links, so people would not get overwhelmed with everything, and then, think about how that might develop over time as people want to continue to learn. And let's see, I think those were the main things for staff. And then for us, we thought having something that's more simplified than the tool. So the tool itself it's pretty complex. It's long and it is very involved, and it's, I think, probably beyond our purview as a team to actually go through the whole tool for each plan. But we talked about creating more of like a simplified structure of questions that we would look at whenever somebody brought a plan to this team, and that we design that in advance so that we could let everyone know, like, this is what we're gonna ask when you come, so people are not caught off guard, and they'll know, the things that we're gonna be looking for and can prep for that, which they would be doing if they did a racial equity tool process as well. And the other thing was, it'll give us some shared criteria. So not only be transparent for the people who are bringing the plans to us, but also, all of us, I think probably it's true that all of us could look at any plan and come up with a million things that we would say, oh, did you think of that, or did you think of that? And so this will help, I think, rein us in terms of like, this is what we're focused on specifically, and also will help us, I think, be, just have those shared expectations of like, what are we looking for when we are looking at these plans, so that we can, just have a shared understanding of that. And so we talked about either doing like a checklist, which we looked at the simplified racial equity tool as a thing that we might use, or like a rubric. And so I just did like a draft of what a rubric might look like that followed along with that simplified tool. And so this is just like a complete draft. It definitely needs more input and work, but just to kind of give folks an idea of what it might look like is the tool basically has them, has us walk through like, does this plan have a clear equity outcome, what data are they collecting, how are they engaging the community, what are the specific strategies that would advance racial equity, how are they gonna do it, and how are they gonna evaluate, basically. And then, you know, it could be scored and with some criteria that we would be able to, again, we would wanna go through this. I would like you all to have a chance to actually like read it and look at it, and we can talk about it another time, but you know, just to give you a sense of what we might be thinking about for this group. So so yeah, what did I miss, Janice or Christopher?
I think one thing that's great is if we have folks that come in and give us a presentation, like you said, we give them some criteria of what we're looking for, because I think it's easy to hear a lot of information and be overwhelmed, like, well, where do I even start, right? So this gives us a foundation that we're all working from, and it again, transparency, it equalizes the playing field with city folks who are coming to present to us. They'll know what we're looking for. So I think all those things are really good. I like that.
Yeah, well, one of the things for me, and I suggested that to you, Christopher, that we should have, you know, the directors, what have you, come in, because I've heard more than one time that people truly still don't understand what our committee is about.
Yep.
And I think we need to have that clear, you know, for them to understand what is our role, what are we doing here, and I think that's number one. Number two, I like that in terms of the criteria, whether it's a checklist or what have you. But I think up front they will know what we're looking for, and I think that's only, you know, fair to have that criteria. I'm a little confused here in terms of the work with the staff, general staff, you know, and then having, you know, the department heads or what have you. Is the general staff, wouldn't that be something that would be a training through HR kind of thing? And not our committee?
Well, we wouldn't be doing the trainings for sure.
Yeah, so yeah, I think that's a good point. And Sarah, if you've got some information you want to share maybe about your vision.
Yeah, so we haven't talked about that yet, but absolutely, this team wouldn't be expected to give employees training. That's something that could come out of the HR department. We also work with we have a risk management company that does all of our employee trainings, and they have some diversity trainings. Actually, they did come in. We had Andrew with CivMIC come in and gave some kind of fundamental diversity trainings. This was like probably 3 or 4 years ago already, but we have had those types of trainings at the city of Fitchburg, but it's been a while. And you know, if we're gonna ask for employees to start thinking about how they can infuse equity into their work, we definitely have to set that foundation and start talking about it more regularly. So I unfortunately I don't have a game plan for you, what that would look like, but definitely nothing would be expected out of this team to give, trainings to city staff.
Okay, thanks. That helps clarify something. Yeah, but I do believe strongly that we need to invite department heads in and help people understand what we're doing, because that, I think that's a big deal. It's real important before we expect them to do anything. They need to understand what is that we're looking for. What are we doing? What's our purpose? And I think it's still very unclear out there.
Yep. Yeah. Great. Well, thanks everyone for their time and effort into these 3 work groups and for reporting out today. If we continue, I think there's a few action plans from each of the groups. Maybe we can have a standing report back on where those items for what we've decided for action plans. And if the groups continue to work, we'll have those regular updates as well. I'd like to move on to our next agenda item, which is 4B, the timing of current city plans, and I'll pass it off to Sarah.
Yeah, just one moment and I'll share my screen. Alrighty. So I checked in with administration to find out kind of what is the timing of all the various city plans that I shared with you at the last meeting. So can everyone see my screen?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right, good deal. So the first one, the comprehensive plan from the planning department, that project is out for bid. So the work has not yet begun. So this is going to be fresh. It's going to take a couple of years, I recall the mayor saying. So we have, there's a lot of work that the city, that this team could help with potentially with, guiding the comprehensive plan. And then the housing plan, this has been referred to the Housing Advisory Committee, CETA, and the Finance Committee. So they do believe the adoption is expected in the coming months. And Janice, I think you're on one of these committees.
The steering committee, And that plan is out there online for people to go out there and take a look at it. So you can and make your comments and respond to it. So I think it would be beneficial for each of us to go out there and take a look at that plan, since that's going to be coming up in front of us.
Okay. Does everyone know where to find that plan? Would it be helpful if I sent that out to the team?
Yeah.
Okay, absolutely. And then the next one is the City in Motion. This is the economic developments plan, and it launched in late 2025. It's actively in progress. So this one is one that's still they're still working on. I could try to get a deeper update from Mike Z. He is out of the office this week, so I wasn't able to connect with him. But that is something. This is an active plan that it's still progressing.
Okay.
And then the Healthy Neighborhood Strategic Plan. So we do have staff updating this plan. Jessica Wolf is the staff contact for this one, and they are expecting the completion within the next few months. So if you'd like, we can also reach out to Jessica and ask her to come to our team and just give a update on where things are at, or we can also check out the H&I committee, one of their some of their past meetings, and just check out what the conversation has been. But I can definitely I don't think that one is anything that's in the that they're accepting updates to right now. It's just something the staff is still updating. So there's probably going to be more to come on that one.
And when I gave my report, I talked about the healthy neighborhoods and the outreach person. Jessica is the outreach person for healthy neighborhoods, so that would be involved with the host of community center. So it would be interesting to have her come in and talk about it. I mean, for us to learn more about what's going on with the healthy neighborhoods in those particular areas.
Mm-hmm.
I think if we had an invite just to get an overview and introduction to the strategic plan and healthy neighborhoods, that would be great.
Yeah.
Okay. I can definitely reach out to Jessica and see if we can get that on one of the upcoming meeting agendas.
Okay.
And then the next thing is the 5-year strategic plan. So right now, Adam's working with the mayor on kind of next steps. So there's an update coming soon. I'm not sure what that looks like yet, but this draft strategic plan has kind of gone back and forth, and it hasn't formally been approved by council yet. So as soon as I have additional information, I'll share that with the team. And then we have the city's first communications plan. Right now, staff are just going through a draft of that. So that still needs to be presented and shared and then adopted. So that one is still under progress.
So, Sarah, do we have a new communications person now, or what?
Well, so they took Jeremy Crosby's position, our FACTv manager, and moved it into a communications manager role. So he has taken on the citywide communications, which is what he was already doing, but we called it something different.
Yeah.
So we did not get a new position. Now, had we received the referendum, that would have been something we would have done, we would have hired a communications director. But Jeremy is wonderful and has the skill set to really excel and with lead the city's communications. So we were able to be creative and be able to have him in that role. So he's the one leading that communications plan.
Yeah, he's great. Actually, I have him coming in March to do a lunch and learn to teach people about how to use FACTv, how to navigate through it all. So yeah, he's very good.
Yeah. Yep.
Sarah, quick,
And then the last. Oh yeah, of course.
Sarah, quick question about the communications plan. In its current draft form, is there a strategy around community engagement? And I don't need details, but just, is that a focus?
In all honesty, I don't even know. So I haven't seen the draft yet of the communications plan, but I can find out.
Great, thank you.
Yeah. And then the last plan is the urban forestry management plan. Now, I didn't have this on the presentation last time. I didn't actually realize that was a city plan that was being worked on right now. So there's public comments under review for the urban forestry management plan. This would be like our city forester and where they're planting trees. So they're moving toward adoption of this in the coming months. So I would have to try to, I'm assuming, I think they have does this go to Parks Commission, Christopher, or where does the forestry plan?
Forestry, I believe, would come to Parks, but I have a question mark, so.
I could also go to Tree.
Yeah.
The Tree Committee.
Oh, they have their own committee? Okay, yep. So then it probably goes to Tree. So that might be one, if we watch one of the Tree Committee meetings, that's where we can get an update on where things are at with that. So I will try to send the team all of links to actual plans that are moving toward adoption, and they're asking for feedback and comments. And then maybe even include some links to other information that I'm able to find. But this is just kind of the best timeline I could put together for you for today's meeting.
Thank you so much, Sarah.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what would be great is if we had an alignment of a final draft of our questions or considerations, and then we can start delving into these plans and really applying that rubric of questions to equity tool. But I think those are probably the two biggest actions for us as a group. But thank you, Sarah. Any questions?
Absolutely.
Are we allowed to work on a Google Doc together, or is that not, I can't remember if I asked this before.
I think any communications where we have more than quorum would be a public meeting.
Okay.
Is that right, Sarah?
Yes, exactly. Yep.
So within the small group, I think would make sense. And then if we're looking for more information or more working, then it would become a public document. So, and then anyone can access it and also provide comment just like our meetings.
Sure.
So, okay.
So maybe the next step is you and I continue to work on that draft and then make sure that it's done not the day of the meeting, which is what I did today, but get it done
and
so we can go out with the agenda. So you all can read it before the next meeting and we can have it on the agenda to talk about at our next meeting.
You can go out in the agenda packet, so that would also be available for public to see.
So I have a question. Isn't Bill on that committee, on that subcommittee?
Yes, he is.
I am.
Okay.
I wasn't at the last meeting, Janice. I didn't see the email.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunately,
Okay.
so my bad, I missed it.
Oh, okay. No, I just thought it was. I don't know if I made that up or not.
Yeah. Thank you. So we'll move forward with the letter C of agenda item 4, recognition for a Fitchburg business. And I brought this to the table. This is a discussion, and I'd like to move it to a vote. And Sarah, you're gonna have to help guide me. This is, again, we provide suggestions and advice to the city. One thing, I'll just share a quick story. Recently, I actually wore my shirt today that says, "All trans lives belong. All trans people belong. And so one thing that happened recently because of the federal administration was the elimination of gender-affirming care for youth at UW Health, and that was our only health facility that was providing those resources in the state of Wisconsin. At that time, Fitchburg Family Pharmacy, a local pharmacy here, made an announcement that they would continue providing service for trans youth across the state. They're the only pharmacy in the state that is providing that. Outside of that, folks have to go to Illinois or go to Minnesota to get that care. So it is a vital resource. I think in times when, during times like now where leadership is really stepping up during critical need, it's important for us to recognize that leadership and courageousness that folks in our community are doing to provide those resources. So I would propose, and this is a motion, it would be a vote. We would be recommending to the City Council and Common Council to formally recognize their leadership and their during this time, and they can formulate the language and how they would want to do it. But we're just forwarding a recommendation to recognize the business. And so, before I get into any making a motion, I would open up for discussion, thoughts.
I can just share that specifically, like during COVID also was incredible, and like came and gave us tests at when I had small children, and that was unheard of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't know pharmacists could do that. So, yeah, so I
So how do we know that they're the only one in the state, Chris?
Yeah.
I've done some research, but I can confirm it. Let me do. I hate to do ChatGPT, but I'm gonna ChatGPT it real quick.
I mean, I think it's a great idea. Don't get me wrong. I just want to make sure,
We don't want to use the language.
No, I absolutely,
Right.
I absolutely agree. I agree with that. I guess beyond that, I mean, is this a new type, a category of recognition that we want to present? I mean, is it just a one-off kind of thing? I guess
it'd be an R type, it'd be a recognition bill. So it would just be the Common Council officially recognize or hereby recognizes or honors or thanks or whatever. It's a pretty simple bill that they could do, and we're just basically saying that we would recommend they do this, and it's up to them whether or not they do it, sort of thing.
Okay.
But there's another question to ask, which is, is the council the right audience or the right directors to send that out? Could it be a mayoral proclamation, that sort of thing? There's a lot of tools in the city's toolbox to do that. So
that's a great question, Janice. I don't know the answer to that. I guess my thought was that we would just present it and see if there's a way. And hopefully the city, and maybe Sarah, you can help answer this question right now, but presenting this to the mayor and council and seeing if they have any interest in moving that forward as an action that they would want. But it would be coming just a recommendation from us. They wouldn't have to take it, they wouldn't have to do it, and it's up to them. Go ahead, sorry.
No, I guess I'm just wondering. So, but thank you. I understand that there's a lot of tools, in the toolkit that they use to do whether it's proclamation or whatever it is. But I guess I'm trying to get a feel. Is this a bigger recognition program for businesses, regardless of what it is about, or is just specifically to transgender things? I guess my question are we keeping this so narrow? Or is it broad that there could be a variety of different suggestions for different businesses for what they do and recognize them throughout the city?
I guess that's a great question. I think I was thinking specifically for this specific need for transgender youth and for a business stepping up in that aspect. But I think I would define it as there are needs that are in our community that are not being provided elsewhere to address disparities or change outcomes from, you know, the purview that we're thinking about. So racial equity, social justice, et cetera. I absolutely would love to think about those, and I think I would encourage the members of the committee or the public to bring those to our attention as well. Like, we want to hear those stories. I would love to uplift those stories.
Yeah.
But this was just an example. You know, this is a new committee, and this was an opportunity that I saw that I'm like, oh, what an opportunity to really highlight again that courageousness and leadership during a time of uncertainty for a lot of families who have been impacted negatively. That a local business was saying, no, we're going to step up and actually continue providing care. So.
Yeah, no, and I know I hear you, and I'm with you. I hear what you're saying. I guess for me though, it would be, to me, a little broader, you know,
Yeah.
and this disparities or whatever. You know, different businesses that are stepping for different reasons. I guess I would prefer not to see it just be so narrow.
Yeah.
For it to be a broader kind of thing that we can recommend a variety of different businesses that are doing, stepping up in under the guise that with the things that we're working on and what we're focusing on.
I think absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
In my mind, I think yes.
I like the idea too, because it gets us as a committee recognized. It gets us out.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah,
You know.
Just broaden it up. I'm not saying just throw out, you know, recognitions all over the place, but that's making a difference. It's making an impact. You know, doing some magical things out there that others aren't paying attention to.
Yeah,
You know, so.
and I guess sharing my story of my experience with them as well, like, it's not just this thing, it's like a pattern of being a great neighbor and business in this community. Yeah, and so I absolutely think there's room for all types of businesses or individuals, I guess, as well. And
I think also, just for me too, what does equity in action look like? So how are we changing outcomes in action? And what a great way to share those stories of businesses, community members, et cetera, that are really doing that work. I mean, I think, you know, I think during these uncertain times, it's easy to think about all the things that are not right. Well, let's start looking at those examples of things that are right and maybe learn from them and uplift those stories. I think for me, that's important. But it's up to the committee. And then again, if we do decide to move that forward, it would be just a suggestion. So that doesn't mean it would be automatic, but.
Yeah, anything suggested, yeah, all right.
Do we want to take a vote, or it sounds like we're in agreement, but go ahead, Janice.
I'm in agreement from a standpoint, as long as it's broad, not so much just narrow on this one thing.
Yep.
That's where I'm coming from.
Okay, so how about this? I will make a motion that we would create an opportunity to recognize leadership within our business and our communities that are addressing racial equity and justice. And in our first action, we'll recognize Fitchburg Family Pharmacy, but open that up. And also ask for community to bring those stories to us. We'd love to hear from the community around those things too.
Can I make a small edit?
Sure, yeah.
Not just racial equity and justice?
Yeah, race and social justice.
Yes, sorry,
Yep.
yes. But yes, all of the things. So, okay.
Thank you for that correction.
No.
So I'll make a motion. Okay, ask a question.
Yeah, I just want to get a point of information. Just so we're recommending to the Common Council effectively that we would like them to think about the idea basically of recognizing local businesses and partners that are providing support and helping in these social and racial deficient areas, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I just want to understand what we're talking about here.
Yep.
It's very broad.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. and I think period. That's a period there, not so much. And because then I think Chris, you went on and said, you know,
Sure.
the transgender thing. I think what he just indicated, and I think Jessica was speaking, that broad thing, we're recognizing individual businesses that for social, justice and da-da-da. Not saying and adding in
Correct.
transgender.
Yep.
You know, because then that's still pushing it to one particular area.
Yep.
Yeah.
Procedural, so with your statement period, that would be the first.
Yeah.
And then the second vote would be that I would then move to Fitchburg Family Pharmacy as our first one. So
It's the first one. Okay.
The first vote would be that we provide this recognition for businesses and community moving towards race and social justice in action. And I use second it, and then all those in favor?
Aye.
Great. That passes. The second would be the first one that we'd like to recognize, suggest to the common council and mayor is Fitchburg Family Pharmacy for their work to provide gender-affirming care for youth in the state.
Okay, let's
Go for it.
Oh, so question there, and I think someone asked this earlier. How do we know they're the only ones that's doing that?
I didn't say that they're the only one, and I didn't get the information in time. I just said that they're continuing to provide gender-affirming care.
I'll just say, I mean, yeah, discussion-wise, I think it doesn't have to be that they're the only one. I think it's important enough that they're in our city, and that's awesome. And so I'm on board just with saying that. Yeah.
Okay. And I'm bringing that up because that was a question earlier. That was
I was just curious. Yeah.
I will find out more information for details later, but I'll take that language out as the only, but that they're stepping up and providing that care.
Yeah, it doesn't say in the communications article.
Okay.
There's others.
I'll just make a friendly amendment to your motion, which is basically that, I mean, you shared they stepped up in numerous ways.
Yeah.
So it'd be nice to highlight all of the ways that they've stepped up or recent ways.
That they stepped up.
So I've just added that little caveat onto the end.
So let me put that together in words. So the first business we'd like to recognize is Fitchburg Family Pharmacy for, at this time, stepping up to provide gender-affirming care for youth in our state, along with other times that they have.
Along with the pandemic response.
And their continued leadership.
Yeah.
Leadership of the community.
Does that work?
Yeah.
I
Second.
think you said being a good neighbor. I like that.
Okay, being a good neighbor too.
A lot of friendly amendments. Second.
Okay, so got a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
And that's fine. Cool.
Do we get
Thoughts, Janice?
a vote?
No, I'm good.
Cool. All right, well, we'll make that suggestion to the common council and the mayor and see where that goes. And I'll follow up with you if there's other details in regards to hiccups or whatever, since this is a new kind of thing that we're suggesting. So I don't know the answer to that, but.
It would be amazing to get some guidance from the council on what a proper mechanism for that type of action would be for us.
Yeah.
So maybe that's a question for Sarah or Donald.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is Sarah still online? Sarah?
Yep, I'm still here.
Any thoughts on that, Sarah, in terms of guidelines on that? What do you know about it?
That's new territory for me, so I'd have to look into that, but I can certainly bring that to the next meeting.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, thank you. We have a few more minutes, I believe, for our meeting and just a few more agenda items. And 4D, number 4D, is standing items, current events. This is opportunity to discuss current events or upcoming changes that affect DEI for the community to be aware of. So this is an opportunity to kind of raise those if we have them.
Maybe once we review the calendar that we're talking about, we'll have some thoughts and things.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff coming up. I know the gay Pride Market is coming up in March. That's coming up. There's other things too. But I'll just recognize the group that I'm a part of too, the PFLAG group. We're meeting monthly and we've had some really good speakers this year. And we're very in tune to and allies about as far as the trans community and all LGBTQ plus peoples in general. So check our website out because I have put in there are a lot of resources and a lot of events that are coming up too. for recent events for the gay community.
I will just add for the March observances coming up, if we want to be thinking, or just know that they're coming. So March 8th is International Women's Day. Just feelings about that and all types of ways. And then Neurodiversity Celebration Week is March 16th to 20th. And then International Day for the Elimination of Racial Discrimination, which I didn't even know was a day, but that is March 21st, and that seems great. And then in April, heading into Arab American Heritage Month, and Stress Awareness Month. So, and World Autism Awareness Day. So I think there are plenty of things. And maybe in conjunction with some of the recognition, maybe we could spotlight folks or businesses that are working towards some of these things too, or like package it when we, however council wants to get that information, like package it perhaps to make it a little bit more manageable.
Or even those organizations working on specific pieces of those.
Absolutely.
Those organizations. I do want to shout out to Janice and her lovely work around Black History Month and all the resources that Janice provided at this last month. So thank you so much, Janice, for your leadership.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. A lot of good turnout. We had quite a few people. 80 at one session and 65 at the other one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah.
It's good to hear, Janice.
Thank you.
Nice work.
Thank you.
Yeah, I got out and got flyers around the community. I don't know if you knew.
I know.
I pinned them up probably about 8 different places all around locally. So that I wasn't able to attend, unfortunately, but I really wanted people to be able to know that that's going on here. So
yeah, it was fun, and again, FACTv films all of the lunch and learns, so you can always go out online and take a look at them.
Okay,
so.
great. Thank you.
Yeah.
And then I think, Bill, did you attend the Common Council recognition for Black History Month?
I watched it online. I wasn't able to actually attend it, but it was very well done. Again, Mayor recognized Black History Month, and several individuals were there, including Janice, I think. Yeah, you were there.
Yeah,
and
we had quite a few people. I was able to get a lot of people to come. We got a nice picture actually in FACTv. I mean, not FACTv. I mean, Fitchburg Star. The photo and the copy of the proclamation will be in the March paper.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yes, good.
Yeah. So
good. So look out for those announcements from the Common Council of different events, and if we can make it, I encourage you to attend, and also those from our community who are watching. Our next meeting, number 5, letter A. Next meeting is Wednesday, March 25th, and we'll get the agenda out for that meeting beforehand. I would be happy to take a motion to adjourn.
Wait.
Go ahead, sorry.
We have the announcement on there, but there's a note that we're working to try to find a time for the internal DEI resource group to come. Are we going to discuss whether or not we want them?
yeah.
Sure. Thank you. No, I appreciate that. We did bring that up, and Sarah, maybe you can give us any information about connecting with the internal DEI employee resource group.
Yeah. We actually just had a meeting last week. We have a presentation all ready to roll for the CEC, just to share a little bit about who we are, our mission, some of the trainings and accomplishments that we've done, and then what we're working on right now. So we're just trying to find a date that works for most. We know we're not going to be able to get all members to be available for an evening meeting, but January and then this February meeting was really not good dates for the majority of the members. So hopefully we can go for March or April, but definitely we'll work on getting on the calendar so that you can meet the team.
Great. Thank you, and thanks for the highlight. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I promise that
Absolutely.
these meetings will go much more smoothly as I get my training wheels off. But thank you. I will take Thank you for the update, Sarah. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'm going to adjourn.
And a second?
Second.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Thank you.
I think we have to vote. Do you have to vote to adjourn?
I think you did. You took a motion to adjourn, so I think you're all good. There was a motion, a second, and then was it all in favor?
All
No.
in favor?
Yeah, that's what I was.
There wasn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. That's it. I told you, I'll get my
Just be like, no.